Yo, it's Will from CVE Garage again. Today, a little more of a technical video over how to install one of the Powertune digital dashes in your 240. This is for a Link ECU for this tutorial, but it's pretty much the same for all ECUs. I'm going to throw it on the screen right now, what you'll need to be looking at, but you'll have this documentation that you got with your ECU or wiring harness that'll show you your pinouts for your control area network or CAN bus, and that's going to be the actual power source and data source that the screen uses to pick up all of your car's information. First thing, if you're running a Storm X or one of the similar ECUs, you're only going to have one CAN bus, so you're going to have two pins for your CAN high and your CAN low. It's pin 36 and 37 on this ECU, I believe, but that CAN bus is already being used by the CAN lambda, which is already plugged into that, which goes to my O2 sensor. So what I had to do is get a CAN splitter. The pins that my ECU specifically uses, picture will be right here. It's a 4-pin Deutsch connector. Most of the ECUs are going to use something similar. Just buy a bag of whatever the pins are on Amazon. You'll get the plug and the pin and like the little seal for it. And effectively, what we did was make our own cable. So when you get this cable from Powertune, you'll have this end that'll always go into your dash, that little white end. And then these 4 cables will basically just be free, just open wires running leads. And then you'll just have to put your own plug on this end of it. So just grabbed a female Deutsch connector, crimped it all, and this is now a custom cable that I use to power the digital dash. With this new generation, you don't need an external power source. So literally this plug is all that powers the actual screen. You don't need like a 12-volt connection. Down here, you have what's called a CAN T, is what Link calls it, but you have your first CAN plug up going onto the engine bay, and then it basically splits off of your ECU so that you get an additional plug, and that's what you'll use for your dash. Depending what brand ECU, your plugs may look a bit different. Just buy whatever plug you get with your ECU. Just buy the other end of it. So this is effectively a custom cable we made just with our own plug crimped onto it, and this provides all the power for the dash. Just this little white connector plugs in right here. That's the only connection to the actual screen besides the GPS antenna. With your cable connected, all you do is plug it into the other end of your CAN interface. Yo, this is Editing Will here. Kind of an important thing I forgot to mention. When y'all are actually setting up the wiring for the plug, if you're using a CAN lambda, which is what is filling my other CAN bus, which is what converts my AFR to CAN, just for a CAN reading instead of like the LSU 4.9 reading, you need to put a capacitor crimped into the pins themselves into the plug. And there's a picture of exactly how I did that. It's a 35 volt 22 UF capacitor. This is just going to make sure that your AFR will actually have power when the car started. If you don't do this, you're going to have AFR power while the key's on, but it'll disappear once you actually start the car. So this is a much easier way, and it'll just make it actually work with AFR. So if you're using a Link CAN Lambda or some of the other CAN Lambdas also, you may have to set it up like this. It's just the red and black wire coming off of your CAN Lambda box. And back to the video. Which I'm going to try to do one-handed right here, just like that, and make sure that snaps in. That'll be providing all your power and your data. I'm not actually mounting it in the cluster in this video. That time will come, but I'm showing you how to at least get it set up. So now that that's connected, your screen will communicate with your ECU. It'll have your RPMs, it'll have your temperatures, your pressures, all that stuff you want to see. If you want to test if it works, you can go ahead and cycle the car on now. And with the way mine's set up, I believe it has to do with my CAN Lambda O2 sensor setup that I have, but it does always like to tell me I don't have enough voltage, but it works anyway. So you might not want to listen to that. Yeah, there's the screen. It does just a normal needle sweep. And if you look close here, you'll just see all your temperature readings AFR readings. So now once you've got it connected, just make sure everything reads. We've got our AFR, got our battery, boost, intake air temp, water temp, oil pressure. Obviously that'll pop up when the engine's running, same with fuel pressure. Then you also have an odometer on this one. Really only thing else left to set up is this kind of screw pin at the bottom. Here's where I put my GPS antenna, just up on my dash. You can put this pretty much anywhere. Just make sure it's open and can see daylight so that I can get a good GPS signal. And then just route your wire through your interior however you need to. Mine comes up through the center console for now since it's not in the cluster. But this screws in just like your grandparents' cable box here. And then you'll have speed and GPS readings for your odometer. And this thing, you can connect a mouse to it, so you can do all your own configurations. You can bring in your own files. Super configurable, which is awesome. You can even make it record using a GoPro as like a dash cam if you wanted to do that. Super awesome though, and super easy. It's all touchscreen, and it's the only thing that keeps me from having to do a bunch of gauges in this car and put wires all throughout the interior. This just keeps it super clean, and I don't have to worry about any of that. Super easy setup though. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment. I should be able to help you out. Otherwise, hope you have a great day, and thanks so much for watching.